A massive white staircase is craned into a windowless arena. National Guard troops blockade Midtown Manhattan. A frantic, last-minute order is issued to rip up a red carpet and replace it with a purple one. The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
It honestly sounds like, the climax of a massive heist movie.
Right, or like the inauguration of a world leader. Welcome to StarScope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And our mission today is to take a massive stack of sources like celebrity news reports, logistical analyses, and even university research to unpack the headline. Taylor Swift's wedding venue is unlike anything fans expected.
Because today we are looking at what happens when a romance becomes so big, it requires basically the logistics of a military operation.
Yeah, and the secrecy of the CIA. Plus, it possesses enough economic power to accidentally bail out a struggling restaurant chain. So we're giving you the ultimate shortcut to being completely well-informed on all of this.
It's a fascinating intersection, really. We usually think of weddings as these deeply personal, intimate moments.
Right.
But at this level of fame, an event like this transforms into a massive infrastructure project.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the physical reality of what is happening on the ground in New York City right now.
Yeah, the transformation of Madison Square Garden.
Exactly. According to TMZ and sources on the ground, workers are tirelessly hanging fabric from the ceiling and, wrapping the entire perimeter of the arena floor.
Which is wild.
They are turning this massive 20,000-seat space into a completely windowless, fabric-draped room.
They aren't just renting an arena. They are essentially erasing the arena's original purpose to build a completely custom, climate-controlled environment inside of its shell.
And the props arriving at the loading docks are just unbelievable. Crews have been spotted unloading these giant crates spray-painted with GP.
Right, which reportedly stands for Garden Party 1 Scenic.
Yeah. And the centerpiece. A giant white staircase being craned into the building that looks like it was ripped straight out of a fairy tale castle.
It's incredible imagery, but from a planning perspective, the sheer scale of fabricating a fairy tale aesthetic inside a brutalist concrete structure is an immense undertaking.
A fairy tale staircase sounds beautiful, sure, but dragging it into a union-run Manhattan arena sounds less like a fairy tale and more like, well, a budgetary nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's look at those numbers from CNN and TMZ. Just to rent Madison Square Garden, the baseline is $1 million a night.
Yeah.
Total estimates for this event are ranging anywhere from $15 to $20 million.
It's staggering. And Ira Levy, a luxury wedding designer, he estimates that the custom lighting setup alone could hit $1 million.
Wait, $1 million just for light?
It's for lighting. And because MSG operates with unionized labor, specifically the IATC local one, every single stagehand, rigger, and technician comes at a premium cost.
Wow.
And if you dig into the facility logistics, it gets even more complicated. There are reports that they are fabricating custom walls and entirely new luxury bathrooms.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Because you don't invite a guest list full of billionaires and A-listers and ask them to line up for standard stadium stalls.
Exactly. But beyond the luxury, there is a much more intense layer to this. MSG isn't just an arena for them, it's a fortress. What's fascinating here is the architectural utility of Madison Square Garden.
Okay, break that down for me.
So an analysis in Weddings magazine highlights this concept of acoustic and visual decoupling. Think about the physical structure. MSG is a massive, windowless, concrete and steel superstructure. It effectively acts as a natural Faraday cage.
Wait, a Faraday cage, meaning the actual steel mesh and concrete of the building is physically blocking cell signals.
Right, signals and radio frequencies from getting in or out. A Faraday cage distributes electromagnetic radiation around its exterior, canceling it out inside.
That is intense.
It really is. For an event like this, it means the venue naturally blocks external broadcast signals, but more importantly for the paparazzi, it entirely eliminates line-of-sight exposure.
Yeah, because if you get married on a breezy beach or even a private estate, you are incredibly vulnerable to, long-range telephoto lenses and drones.
Exactly. A concrete arena mathematically decouples the event from the outside world, No one can see in, no sound can leak out, and a drone simply cannot penetrate the airspace.
You maintain absolute, ironclad control over the intellectual property of the event, and that perimeter control extends downward too, right?
Yeah, because MSG sits directly on top of Penn Station. It has these massive subterranean loading bays.
So the guests and, high-value assets can arrive via restricted transit corridors deep underground. They literally drive under the city, completely avoiding the public sidewalks.
It shifts the entire security vulnerability model. Instead of trying to secure a horizontal plane like a mile of open road leading to a country club, you are securing a few vertical subterranean access points.
Which is way easier to defend.
Tactically speaking, yes. It is mathematically much easier to defend a tunnel than a horizon.
And they are defending it heavily. The police bill alone is estimated at over $160,000.
Wow.
High-ranking NYPD sources say there will be over 70 detectives pulled from across the city, plus another 50 rookies, just to manage the outer perimeter.
And we've even seen footage of the National Guard outside the arena coordinating street closures, right?
Yeah. Inside the building, event staff are wearing special coded wristbands and operating under a strict no-phone policy.
It is a total unprecedented lockdown of information.
Hold on, though. I'm trying to picture a romantic wedding day, and all I'm seeing is a brutalist concrete vault surrounded by the National Guard. Doesn't that totally kill the vibe? I mean, you usually picture a wedding as this beautiful celebration, not a hostage negotiation at a bank vault.
It's completely counterintuitive to how we view romance, yes. But for ultra-high net worth individuals, security is the absolute prerequisite for romance.
That makes sense.
If you spend your entire wedding day looking over your shoulder, worrying about a drone capturing your vows to sell to a tabloid, you aren't emotionally present.
Right.
By building this impenetrable fortress, they are essentially buying the peace of mind required to actually be human and enjoy the moment.
And they are taking that security to the absolute extreme with a zero-yield gift policy. NFL player George Kittle actually confirmed this detail.
No gifts allowed.
Guests are strictly forbidden from bringing any physical gifts to the venue whatsoever.
Which is a classic textbook counterintelligence move. Every physical package entering a secure perimeter represents a stunning vulnerability.
Because it takes massive amounts of time to X-ray boxes.
Exactly. And a gift could easily contain embedded tracking technology, a hidden camera, or an audio bug. By eliminating all inbound cargo, you streamline your security to just verified humans.
You remove the variable. So they're spending up to $20 million to turn a midtown arena into an underground fortress.
Yeah.
But wait till you hear what came next.
Yeah.
Because someone who knows all about secret celebrity weddings has stepped forward, and she thinks we're all being played.
This is where the narrative moves from the physical lockdown of MSG to the psychological warfare of celebrity privacy. If MSG is so incredibly secure, why is it so publicly known?
Enter Rosemarie Terenzio. If you don't know that name, she was the chief of staff for John F. Kennedy Jr., and she is the woman who planned his ultra-secret 1996 wedding to Carolyn Bessette.
That was a wedding so deeply secretive that the guests didn't even know where they were going until they physically arrived.
Right. And Terenzio went on CBS Mornings recently, looked right at the camera, and plainly stated that she does not believe the wedding is happening at Madison Square Garden at all.
Her perspective is vital here because she literally wrote the playbook on this level of misdirection.
Oh, totally.
When she planned JFK Jr.'s wedding, she actually printed out fake itineraries for a massive trip to Ireland and casually left them around her office to throw the press off the scent.
That is brilliant. While the global media looked east across the Atlantic, the couple quietly slipped away and got married on Cumberland Island in Georgia.
In a tiny wooden church. And she thinks Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are running that exact same playbook.
Using Madison Square Garden as a colossal, noisy, incredibly expensive misdirect, while the real ceremony happens somewhere quiet.
The behavioral evidence for a decoy is actually quite compelling. For instance, the YouTube Insider reports note that guests were required to sign strict, multi-page, non-disclosure agreements just to RSVP.
It was just to RSVP.
Yeah. That level of extreme legal friction suggests they are protecting a closely guarded secret, not just managing a standard event.
There's also the fact that Swift has an incredibly unique, tight bond with her fans. Terenzio theorized that the MSG event might not be a wedding ceremony at all, but rather a massive fan celebration.
A highly produced way to bring her supporters into the milestone without actually giving away her private vows.
And then there's Travis Kelce. Just days before this supposed massive, high-stress wedding, He was spotted casually jogging solo through Tribeca. TMZ even dubbed him the runaway groom.
But does that look like a stressed groom managing a $20 million event?
Or a guy playing his part in a very relaxed misdirection campaign.
The casual jog definitely points towards someone whose heavy lifting is already done. It looks like the behavior of someone who knows the real event is far away from the paparazzi currently swarming Midtown.
That makes sense, but honestly, I have to challenge this whole decoy theory on the pure economics of it.
How so?
Well, if MSG is a decoy, that means she is spending $10 to $20 million on a fake out. That's like you or me renting out a whole restaurant for the night just so we can eat a sandwich in our car without anyone bothering us.
It does sound
It's
crazy.
an absurd amount of capital just for a smokescreen.
To you and me, absolutely. It sounds like a wildly irrational deployment of capital. But we have to scale our perspective to the CNN financial data.
Okay.
Taylor Swift's net worth is estimated at $2.1 billion. A $10 million decoy represents less than 0.5% of her total wealth.
Wow. So if you're listening to this and rolling your eyes at the idea of a $20 million decoy, you have to remember that for someone worth over $2 billion, a $10 million distraction is basically a rounding error.
Exactly. If you have a net worth of $100,000, that is the mathematical equivalent of spending $500 to keep a massive life event secret.
Oh, that puts it in a wild perspective.
For a billionaire, buying an entire arena to act as a decoy isn't an absurd luxury. It's simply the operational cost of doing business to protect your real, intimate moments.
Yeah.
This raises an important question, though. How do we define privacy in the modern age?
Because if achieving true privacy requires deploying the National Guard, renting a major sports arena, and spending millions of dollars on a diversionary tactic.
Privacy is no longer a natural right for these figures. It is a highly engineered, premium product that must be purchased and maintained.
That is so true. Whether this wedding is real, a brilliant decoy, or a massive fan party, the impact of this engagement is already rewriting the rules of the economy.
Absolutely.
Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming for a completely unrelated restaurant chain. But first, let's look at the measurable, real-world impact of this couple.
Because, real or fake, their engagement announcement essentially functioned as a macroeconomic stimulus package.
A recent study from the College of Communication and Media at Montclair State University broke down what they call the star power effect. When the engagement was announced, the internet effectively broke.
We are talking 10 million Instagram likes within the first hour.
10 million. And social discussions generated a staggering 7,222% increase compared to the previous period.
And perhaps most surprisingly for the internet, 82% of all social media posts about the engagement express the emotion of joy.
That is rare.
Very. That 82% joy metric is the most crucial data point in the study. In an online environment that is algorithmically designed to be cynical and polarizing, creating a unified wave of overwhelmingly positive sentiment is incredibly powerful.
And more importantly, it is highly monetizable for any adjacent brands. Let's look at fashion first. Swift's engagement ring features an 8-carat old mine brilliant cut diamond designed by Kindred Lubick.
Instantly, massive vintage trends sparked across the entire jewelry industry.
Then there's the dress. Swift wore a chic, striped Ralph Lauren dress in the engagement announcement photo. It sold out globally in a matter of minutes.
Causing a 63% spike in brand mentions for Ralph Lauren across all platforms. It's the ultimate influencer conversion rate.
But it extends far beyond just the clothes she wears. The Montclair State study noted a 96% increase in brand references for the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs online.
And this happened mere days before the football season even started.
The NFL's senior VP of global brand marketing actually credited Swift with bringing a massive new demographic, the Swifties, into the sport.
Though, to be fair, the sources note some football purists complained about the distraction.
Sure, but the numbers don't lie. The viewership, jersey sales, and ticket sales skyrocketed.
Now, the NFL and Ralph Lauren make logical sense. They are directly, tangibly connected to the couple. But the reach of this event goes into completely unexpected territories.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Hmm.
Because we have to talk about Cracker Barrel.
It is the most absurd outlier in this entire data set, but it perfectly illustrates the sheer cultural gravity of this relationship.
So just purely impartial reporting based on the sources here to give you the context.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel was facing a massive PR crisis. They had recently redesigned their logo, and it triggered an intense online backlash.
Some local groups on the internet labeled the new design as woke.
Right, and this controversy had real immediate financial consequences. The restaurant chain was looking at an estimated $100 million drop in stock value as the internet piled on.
They were caught right in the center of a cultural storm, which is the absolute last place a family dining brand wants to be.
Exactly. And then, out of nowhere, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement.
And to understand how this connects, you have to picture the internet as a giant attention economy.
The algorithm feeds on engagement, and usually outrage is the highest form of engagement. But an engagement from this couple is a nuclear bomb of engagement.
It literally starves the negative PR of algorithmic oxygen.
The Montclair study found that the engagement dominated the cultural conversation so thoroughly that it created a massive, unexpected distraction. People actually started making memes, blending the engagement photos with the Cracker Barrel logo.
It essentially gave the brand an immediate, unearned PR relief just by changing the subject of the entire internet. The algorithm pivoted from outrage to joy.
That is the raw power of a cultural monolith. When Swift and Kelce move, they suck all the oxygen out of the digital room,
Leaving other controversies to quietly fade out in the background because the algorithm has found a shinier, more engaging object.
It's incredible. This couple has essentially become a macroeconomic weather system.
Right.
A single post from them can save a restaurant chain from a PR crisis, sell out a global fashion brand in minutes, and boost the ratings of the largest sports league in America.
Yeah.
How does a single relationship hold that much power over consumer behavior?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at something called narrative transportation theory.
What's that?
It's a psychological concept where individuals become so deeply immersed in a story that they temporarily place themselves into the world of that narrative. They feel what the characters feel.
But the way fans interact with this isn't just like getting lost in a good book. It's more like how people engage with sports franchises.
Right.
Fans aren't just passively reading a story. They are wearing the team's jersey, or in this case, buying the Ralph Lauren dress,
Yeah.
to feel like they are playing on the field with the couple.
Precisely. Fans aren't just reading news updates. They are actively experiencing this relationship as a real-life, serialized romance. Every football game appearance, every paparazzi photo walking out of a restaurant, every engagement rumor acts as a new chapter in a story they feel deeply personally invested in.
And it is all perfectly, emotionally soundtracked by Swift's own catalog of love songs.
They feel like they belong to the story. The fans consume the couple's milestones as if they were happening to their own personal friends.
Yeah, and when you feel that level of parasocial intimacy, you don't just like a post and move on. You buy the vintage diamond. You tune into the Chiefs game every Sunday.
You participate in the narrative through your physical consumer choices.
So what does this all mean? It means this isn't just about a pop star and an athlete falling in love. It is about the complete monetization of public intimacy. Their private moments are the fuel for a massive economic machine.
And that brings us full circle back to the barricades at Madison Square Garden. When your relationship is a global economic driver that can move the stock market, protecting it requires the logistics of a state visit.
It really does. Let's briefly recap the incredible journey we just took. We started at Madison Square Garden, looking at a potential $20 million military-grade fortress complete with subterranean access tunnels and acoustic decoupling to block out the world.
Then we explored the fascinating JFK Jr. playbook, raising the very real possibility that this entire arena is just a brilliantly executed, multi-million-dollar decoy designed to distract the press.
And finally, we looked at the staggering economic shockwaves their engagement sends through the NFL, the fashion industry, and even providing an algorithmic accidental bailout for Cracker Barrel.
It is a masterclass in modern celebrity, logistical infrastructure, and sheer market influence.
For you listening, the next time you see a celebrity headline, whether it's an engagement, a wedding, or just a rumor, I want you to look past the romance of the photo. Look at the massive logistical, psychological, and economic machinations happening just outside the frame.
Because the real story is rarely the picture on the magazine cover. It's the invisible infrastructure required to take that picture.
But I want to leave you with a final thought, something to really chew on that wasn't directly answered in our sources today. If a couple has to deploy military-grade tactics, millions of dollars in decoys, and a small army of police just to get married, at what point does the pursuit of privacy completely erase the actual personal intimacy of the event itself? Are they fighting to protect a private moment? Or have they simply trapped themselves into producing another massive, exhausting show?
It's the ultimate paradox of fame. The harder you fight for a normal moment, the more abnormal the process becomes.
It really is. If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.